Siman Lamed Beis Sif Nun. So anyway, the Mechaber in Siman Nun, Sif Nun. So the last thing we learned is that Hatzalach Moshe Messinai, that the tefillin are sewn up using gidim, using sinews of a kosher animal. So the Mechaber says, "Ein liknes gidim ein Yehudi." You should not buy the sinews from a guy. Why? Mishum dechashinon shema shel behema tmeihem, because maybe they come from Chazer. And the Mishnah Berurah has a whole arichos. What if there's only a miyut that are selling it from Chazer? So can you go basaroiv? Okay, Ruba. Then it's, do you go to their store? Because if you go to their store, then it's muchzik. And kol muchzik keveh kol keveh mechza mechza dami. If they come to the market, then it's roiv. Okay, bekitzer. Mechaber says, malkum shegidim mitzuyim. Let's say there's no sinews available. So toifrim be tali durush. Tali durush is basically take some of the cloth, slice it super thin, and use that to sew it up. Now the fact that that's shayisim in a cloth achi is dam gidim. You could do that until you find sinews. Then when you get sinews, replace it. Now this is a tremendous chiddush. I'll tell you why. It's halacha mishmeh Sinai. Halacha mishmeh Sinai, usually there's no options. There's no replacements. Halacha mishmeh Sinai must be the way Moshe Rabbeinu was said. So the Mishnah Berurah brings down yesh ma'achroinim. There are those achroinim. This is from the Noid Behuda. Shechoyshim shaloy is ben mafilu b'shasad chak. The Noid Behuda says, how could you be yaitze with non-sinews using a cloth? It's halach Moshe Sinai. Who gidin? V'talmidar orhu. V'or l'tfir lo shemanu. We don't find such a thing. L'fiza mein lo gidim acher makapon lo yivarach alayim. He says you shouldn't make a bracha on it, at least because according to Shulchan Aruch, you make a bracha. The Noid Behuda says you shouldn't because Pasha Sinai yaitze. It's halach Moshe Sinai. Okay, the Mechaber then says in Nun Aleph, Yitfor shloisha tfiris b'chol tzad, v'chot tfir yisoyviv mishtei ruchos. You're basically going to be three on either side. They have pictures. It's basically, if you count those little boxes on the bottom, the little up and down, the box you fill in, there's 12. There's 12. So if you look over here, if you count 1, 2, 3 on either side, 3 on 4 sides is 12. Now, the way to do that is you're going to have to go up and down and back over, because if you just go once, then it would, let's say, show on this and not show on this one. So you're actually going basically in circles. You're going to go more than once. The Mechaber then says, "V'chot haTfira soiv mishtei ruchos, v'yaver chut haTfira bein kol bayis ubayis," and it has to go between each house. Meaning you're not just going, on the corner, then skipping to the other corner. You're going through every single opening you're going to go through. If you just did 10, you're yoytze b'diavad. Again, these are not so practical because Baruch Hashem, the Seifrim know how to do this when they give you the tefillin properly. Then the Mechaber says, some say that it's better to have one string. Technically, the first opinion said you could have multiple strings. You do this, tie it off, then you do another string, tie it off. Good to have all 12 be done with one string. Okay. Again, I want to finish up because these things are not as practical. Now, Nun Beis is very practical. You put the strap of the tefillin through the ma'abarta. And in the back of the head, shal roish, you make a dalid. Now, before we go weiter, look at the Mishnah Berurah. V'yasa kesher, v'kesher shel tefillin hu halacha Moshe Messinai. Kesher, the tefillin is halacha Moshe Messinai. V'nira shetzarach la'asos l'shma, and it should be made l'shma. V'lo yaseu katan, it should not be done by a katan. I guess even if you have someone who's adjusting the tefillin and they have to take apart the knot for a few moments, they should have in mind when they do it l'shem mitzvahs tefillin. It could be it's kosher even not, because when you're adjusting it, you're not undoing it. But sometimes it depends with the way I do it. It kind of cuts apart. So you should do it l'shma. Now, the Mishnah Berurah then says kimin dalid, that it's a dalid. V'yesha oisin kesher kimem, and some make the tefillin like a yud, a mem in the back. Stuma shenir kishtei dalton, which are like $2 on top of each other, makes a mem. Raglei zabish arad gezeh. V'ayim b'sefer tferes ari yeshev b'shem tshuva mahava v'hiskim miladina de'elu oisim kesher shel dalid mechuvin yoyis ladina. It's better to make a dalid. Gam lo yasa kesher ha'osu lihishamet ona va'ona. You should also not make it that it could move too much. It should be very, very tight. Kasav el Yerabba ma'isa be'echad shera acher chalitzas haTefillin shehuter hakesher shel yad v'haresi lasel anichem likaris kriyash ma beli bracha the mitzvahs tefillin kol hayoyim. Time to l'shitas Rashi svila yud hu halacha Moshe Messinai liyatza dayin de mitzvah. Meaning, in other words, that he put on the tefillin, when he took it off, he realized that the yud had come apart. The yud on the shel yad is this part on top. Apparently, when this top part, imagine this doesn't exist, that's a yud. So if that is undone, he realized afterwards that the yud was gone. So you say it's still tefillin, yeah, but the fact that it should be a dalet in the back of the shel rosh, the fact that it's a yud over here, and the fact that there's a shin on the box is all halach Moshe Sinai. So if it's halach Moshe Sinai, can't say not yaitza. So put it on again, and it never hurts to put on tefillin more than you can wear tefillin all day. Back to the Mechaber says, you make a dalet shel rosh, min yud b'shel yad, l'hashel mos yeshakai, im hashin shebel shel rosh. V'noagim lahaver or al habayis shel yad l'rochav azroa, v'yerochbo kerochav habayis, that the minig is to place some sort of leather on top. It's probably like this early editions of this plastic thing. V'liyasak sharim el'achar sha'asa hashin hatfilin v'achach yasa dal v'achach yasa yud keseder oisius. And you don't sew it up until you do the shin first, meaning you put the shin on the box, then you sew it up, and then you make the dalet, and then you make the yud. So you're actually doing in the order. So the Seif should make the shin, and then the dalet, and then the yud. The Mishnah Berurah says, obviously, if you're buying a shel yad from a shel rosh from different seifrim, you can't control that because you don't know it's not. By the way, if let's say the dalet gets messed up, you don't have to then, undo the yud, then do the dalet, then do the yud. It's lichachila. It's not ma'akiv b'diavad at all.